I decided to read excerpts from the second chapters of my book, A Glimpse into My Life. This chapter is titled, We Are Moving Where? It was written in 2004. Columbia, South Carolina, my father declared. Where? Never heard of it. Doesn't matter anyway, I'm not going. We all go or nobody goes, my father replied in a sad but firm tone. Life was not fair. I had just turned 18 and passed the official exams of math elementary with flying colors. My future was just starting. I had big dreams. I hated destiny. It was only a matter of weeks before we piled 6 people, 12 suitcases in my cousin's car and headed toward that destiny of ours. Since the airport was shut down, we had to board a ship to Larnaca, Cyprus. From there, we would fly to the United States. As the ship pulled away from shore and floated further into the Mediterranean, the sound of explosions faded away. The sight of my country became smaller as my tears grew bigger. After a 40-hour adventure across the Atlantic Ocean worthy of its own narrative, we landed at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. At customs, a blond man with blue eyes stood tall. It was 3 a.m. He asked if we were carrying any alcohol. All my children, my mother answered in her best English. He stared at her, at our tattered suitcases, then back at our tired but proud faces. The officer shook his head and said, "Welcome to the United States." We completed the formalities and were transported to a hotel for the night before taking a plane to our final destination. The hotel looked like it had jumped out of a movie screen. So high, so clean. Best of all, no bullet holes, no tape on the windows. In the room, I turned on the TV and was taken aback. It was all in English. No subtitles. I flipped through a few more channels before it hit me. I would have to learn English. The following day, we landed in Columbia, South Carolina. And after spending the first month crying and refusing to leave the house, I eventually wandered outside to discover my new world. Columbia, South Carolina. Population? 124,732. 53% female, 47% male. Major attractions, the Koger Center of the Arts, Riverbank Zoo, the State Museum. Major educational center, the University of South Carolina. That's what research told me. The data I have gathered in person throughout the years is more compelling. Columbia is the hospitable city that welcomed my family over 20 years ago. It is where my mother went to work and my father learned how to cook. It is where my mother learned enough English to realize all my children would have been the right answer if the customs officer had asked why we were immigrating to the United States. Columbia is where my father struggled for his life, where he died in December 2003, and where he is buried. It is where my parents, who never completed high school, proudly celebrated the college graduation of their 4 children from the University of South Carolina. It is where my father taught me how to drive, where he bought my first car. It is where I got my first job as an engineer at NCR. It is where I fell in love, married, and later divorced. It is where I had my first child, as well as my second, where I learned that soccer is not football, and that Southern is the official language in South Carolina, not English. It is where I became infatuated with sweet iced tea and fried okra. Through the ups and downs, this city is where I spent most of my life. Although I may never be a Southern belle or crave a barbecue sandwich or be able to say y'all with the right accent, Columbia, South Carolina is the place I call home. Thanks for watching.